let's start over. What's up, the internet? Welcome to the news from the Nexus. I'm your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is Amanda.
Hello.
She doesn't get a title because I haven't made one up yet. I'm the host. We got to come up with whatever you are.
The actual host, guys.
I'm guessing she couldn't have did what I just did to get it working, so
That's
not
probably
actually
true.
the host.
Well, but doesn't that then make you the technical support?
Technical support host.
And I am definitely the personality. Pat will
tech
tell
genius. Owner.
Everyone
Operator.
who's here will
Person who
tell
knows
you.
how to publish the podcast.
I can figure all that
Person
out.
who knows how to edit the podcast.
You act like I don't know people who can do that for me.
Just saying. This is our new show, the news from the Nexus.
I like Pat's comment. It kind of looks like that.
It kind of does look like that, Pat, but no, we are just sitting next to each other. But instead of her sitting right next to me and like making me uncomfortable,
we're actually sitting across from each other like we're having a conversation.
Right, she is slightly further away.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can kind of... Can I reach in? No, I can't reach in. I can come from the top.
See, but I can hit her.
No, stop it.
So, see how that works? Separate, but not necessarily equal. I'm the big face right now. Anyhow, so this is our new show. The news from the Nexus. It's going to replace our previous Tuesday night show, which was on Tuesday night. We show you
meh
stuff, comics, things, whatever. So this is going to be a little different than we've done before. This is going to be a little more podcast style. Mm-hmm. So I see your comments. We'll react to your comments, but we're going to kind of just do our thing. And if you want to chime in, we'll include you as best we can as we figure this out. It's a little bit new for both of us as to how this is going to work. So we're going to play it. Yeah, Amanda's the brains. Right, Pat.
Pat knows.
So, like I said, this is the news from Nexus. I'm Kyle. That's Amanda. You know us. Right, we're the people.
We're the people.
This is kind of the new way to do things now that we're in the new store. You know, while we're doing things differently, we're going to do everything a little differently in an attempt to finally do things the way we wish we had been doing them for an unspecified period of time.
Yeah.
That we wish we'd been doing them that way. Yeah, the Nexus 419, for those of you who are tuning in, but for whatever reason don't know.
Right.
I don't know why you wouldn't know. Is the newest, hottest, coolest, most extra comic book store in the area. It's where fandom comes together. If you're watching this and you don't know what we do here, please just ask. Yeah. We've got anime, manga, comics, toys, magazines, energy drinks.
Energy drinks. Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff.
Funko Pops.
Yep. So the goal of the show, real simple, because this is episode 1, an introduction.
It is.
I wanted to call it the Phantom Menace, but then I was worried people like Melzak would just tune out.
Yep. It's much better. This is kind of the introduction.
Yeah. The goal of the show is just to get with you guys every week for a week. Every week for an hour. And kind of talk through what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
Comic-wise, superhero-wise, nerd-wise, culturally. I don't know. You never know.
I mean,
we might talk about culture, especially nerd culture, or whatever cultures are growing in the back of my throat at the moment.
Well.
As my throat gets scratchy 5 minutes into this thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that didn't take long.
No. But you know, we're gonna figure this out as we go along, guys. This is new for us, just like it's new for you. Like I can't turn my head around that way because the light doesn't work. No lightsaber fights. I tune out. Yeah. Well, that's fair, Melzak. You never know when you're gonna get a lightsaber fight with an actual blade with that one over there.
I feel threatened, guys. Send help.
I'm relatively sure this thing is so dull and so tiny it couldn't actually hurt you.
That would hurt more because it's dull.
Yeah, but I'm relatively sure it would just bounce off like you're Luke Cage or something.
Well, I might be.
So, One of the things that we talked about and we want to talk about every week is what we're watching.
Yes.
So, what's up, Riggs? So, Disney Plus is the new hotness.
Yes, it is. And we both, of course, subscribed. Not right away.
Yeah, I waited a few days.
I was probably a week or two.
I subscribed after you, so I assumed you subscribed the first day, which is why I said I waited a few days.
No.
And then I must have waited a couple weeks.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to see what everyone who signed up day one and before started saying.
Right.
And it seems like there was a lot of technical issues that first week or so that I got to miss.
So, what are you watching?
What am I
And the internet, what are you watching?
With the rest of the world, I am watching The Mandalorian. I am caught up through all 5 episodes. We, together, every week, are watching the Jeff Goldblum.
It's true. We are watching The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
Which is pretty fun.
Is, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's a lot.
A special level of awesome.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum is a lot to take in.
This is why he's very much perfectly suited for half-hour segments once a week.
Yes. 1,000%. If it was any longer, you'd be like, okay, I need to take a break. I need like a hot stone massage and a shot of Jameson to watch the next half hour of the show. But like, so the last episode, the episode we just watched, he talks about barbecue. And I had some...
He had some very strong feelings about what was being happening.
Josh is watching Carnival Row because he doesn't have Disney Plus.
Well, we are also watching The West Wing. So along
right.
with...
We're watching other things, Josh. But we're just talking about our Disney Plus right now. So last night... barbecue, and I had strong opinions
you did.
about it because at some point he's barbecuing things that aren't meant to be consumed by humans. And then later on, he's using words in conjunction with other words that make that an oxymoron.
It's true. We did have to Google some terms.
We had to Google hamburger.
Like, what is a hamburger and what is a steak,
Right, what exactly is a hamburger, what exactly is a steak? And as it turns out, I was right.
Well, was it Merriam-Webster or...
Siri.
It was, okay. But who did she use? Somebody. She used somebody. But both to be considered a hamburger or to be considered a steak have to be beef.
Right, so don't come at me with no vegan steaks. They're not steaks, they're vegan patties.
Fillets, I think.
Patties. Just like a cow patty.
My goodness.
What?
You.
Hey.
Like I said, very strong emotions from Kyle on the barbecue episode.
Very strong emotions on the barbecue episode. I had less strong emotions on the denim episode, or the ice cream episode.
The tattoo.
Or the tattoo episode. Or the sneaker episode.
I feel like you only had strong emotions about the barbecue.
Well, here's the thing. Like, the sneaker episode, I'm like, I feel that so hard. Because the sneaker episode, if you watch The World According to Jeff Goldblum, the very first episode, he goes to a sneaker convention. Now, if you've ever been to a convention of any kind wherein things are sold, which we've been to a lot of, you're gonna relate so hard.
It's worth it. I definitely think Jeff Goldblum is worth it, but definitely space it out, Pat, because we did 3 episodes in a night, and after the first 2, we were like, we need a break.
Right, I need to watch something fiction. No, Josh, you have to watch the episode. I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta,
He definitely breaks down what grilling is versus
grilling
barbecue,
as opposed to barbecuing and things like that, but like...
how it all kind of gets lumped into the same umbrella.
Right. So,
cooking meat with fire.
Right, cooking meat with fire. So, we're also watching The West Wing.
Yep.
So, Amanda, I'm a West Wing aficionado.
Yes.
I watched The West Wing 2 or 3 times through a year, probably. Mm-hmm. Amanda hasn't watched it since it was first on. So, Amanda, what's it like watching The West Wing for the first time since it was on?
It really is a new experience for me because I know a lot of the big major kind of plot points and things that are going to happen because I watched it as I aired, but I watched it as it aired as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when was the first season? Late 90s? Early
Mid-90s.
2000s?
Clinton administration.
Okay. So I was very young at this point, like elementary school, maybe beginning of junior high, watching the show. So now I'm getting to see it kind of from an adult perspective, and watching it all over again. It's interesting, and I think it's definitely worth it if it's something you haven't seen or haven't seen since it. Yeah. So I was 7 years old during the first season, and I remember watching it with my mom. Mm-hmm. So definitely, like, if you haven't watched it since it aired, I think especially go back, like, now that you're kind of a fully formed human.
So as a team, we're through what, 8 episodes? As an individual, I restarted rewatching when we started rewatching, but
because you can't help yourself.
Right, but I'm cheating. So I'm midway through season 2.
Yeah.
Now, on my own, and going back and watching season 1 with her.
Yeah.
Which is, the right way to do it.
Well, we watch about 2 episodes a night.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're about 8.
Right, and we're only watching it 1 day a week.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, sometimes 2, but.
Yeah. So the other thing, and somebody wanted us to talk about this earlier. Mm-hmm. Jeremy Rominsky brought it up earlier.
Yeah.
We're watching The Masked Singer.
I am behind.
How far behind?
I didn't watch last week, and I probably will not watch last week until I watch this week.
So we're going to put off our Masked Singer talk until next week.
Yeah, because I haven't watched last week. I had other things happening, I think, in my life, so.
Yeah.
I did
West
not
Wing was
watch.
99.
Okay. So then I was 9. I'm still very young. Like,
right.
I'm late elementary school, watching the show. And really figure 3rd grade, we were finishing out Clinton. I was really just becoming aware of things because it would be the next year that, 4th grade. So the next year I would have been very much involved in politics because that would have been the Gore-Bush election.
The year I supported Nader.
Well,
I was in the 7th grade, and that was the thing to do,
right.
was to support Ralph Nader, because his last name sounds like what a redneck would call a potato.
Stop.
Or a testicle, or, something like that. So, like, it was really funny to support Ralph Nader.
Yeah. So, like, that would have been the first election that I was very aware of.
Riggsy, you gotta watch The Masked Singer, man.
Catch up and join us next week.
This season has been awesome. Yeah. Way harder than last season to guess who things are.
Very hard.
Very hard. All right. So, what else are we watching? What else is of note that we're watching?
I mean, I've been flipping, obviously, through Disney Plus a lot more. So.
That's right. Yeah. You were telling me yesterday you were watching Lizzie McGuire.
I'm watching Lizzie McGuire again because I remember again watching it as it aired. As like this 10, 11-year-old, and very much related to it. It doesn't hold up when you're almost 30, I'll say. Mm-hmm. But it is still, I think, a really well-produced children's program. As a show meant for kids, mm-hmm. It is really a nice, well-done show. But I also went back and watched a lot of live-action stuff that I hadn't seen yet. So Dumbo and Lady and the Tramp, and then I've watched some of the classic stuff. So
I've watched none of that.
Yeah. I watched Peter Pan.
I've watched Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers twice. I've gone through that one twice. I also watched Wreck-It Ralph.
Yep.
And what else did I watch? Oh,
didn't you watch Up?
The Incredibles. That very first day I got it. I watched those two. And I've watched Up. I've watched a lot of the Pixar stuff again. Mm-hmm. For me, rewatching things like the Pixar stuff, A Bug's Life.
Oh, we watched that too.
From when I was a kid, was really great. But also rewatching the cartoons and things that we didn't have Disney when I was growing up in the house. It wasn't part of our cable package, so we only got to watch it when there was that Disney free weekend.
Like they do with HBO now.
Right. So you'd get you'd watch as much Chip and Dale's as you could. You'd watch as much whatever as you could. Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
DuckTales. That kind of stuff, because that's what was on.
It's Wreck-It Ralph, Susie. And it's It's a very early video game kind of nostalgic movie. I think it's an amazing film. I think it's better than Frozen.
Hey, our friend's in it. My friend's in it.
But it's just one of those movies that I think it definitely is aimed more at little boys, which Disney does lack movies that are aimed at little boys. Yeah, that you. So I think it's a good role model for, young boys and, little boys learn, to watch. Like Ralph is, who you want to be by the end of that movie. So, because you kind of are Wreck-It Ralph. I mean, in the beginning. See,
I just super agree with King Candy most of the time.
Oh, stop.
And then like
Alan Tudyk does not count.
But then you remember that like, oh yeah, he's the bad guy.
He is.
Yeah, I shouldn't identify so much with him.
Way to spoil Wreck-It Ralph if you've never seen Wreck-It Ralph, but...
Well, you figure it out pretty early.
You do.
All right, so is Disney Plus... So there's all these streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, HBO Go, Sling, Spotify, all these different things you can stream. And NBC is making their own streaming service. Because that's why things like Friends are going away.
The Office is leaving.
The Office, Parks and Rec. All these shows are leaving Netflix and other streaming services because NBC wants to start their own. So, is Disney Plus, when you consider all of the other services, is it worth the investment?
For me, so far, it has been.
Okay.
Because I've been able to watch things I haven't seen yet. So, Dumbo, once The Lion King hits, I'll be able to watch that.
Right.
Aladdin, things like that. Things that I missed in theater because I didn't have time or whatever. I'm going to be able to watch. And I think all the new added content coming with the WandaVision and
all the Marvel, all the Avengers stuff.
All the Star Wars stuff. The Mandalorian, I think, is... absolutely wonderful. I don't want it to only go 8 episodes. I want them to take like a 2-month break and start giving me more of it. But we'll see what they do. And the fact that I have young kids in my life. I have little cousins and my boyfriend has a son who can now all watch these movies that I grew up watching too. So, Disney Channel original movies, and they have access now to, like you were saying, Darkwing Duck and Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers and really great television shows without having cable. So that's, I think, where at least so far it's worth it. And I went with the year subscription. So I just paid a flat $75 after tax straight for the year, and it actually ended up saving me a couple bucks a month by doing it that way.
See, I went with the month-to-month subscription, and to me it's not worth it yet.
Okay.
The Mandalorian's great. Don't get me wrong. But like a third of the Marvel movies are on there. The rest are still on Netflix, which I already pay for.
Right.
There's no new Marvel original content outside of The Mandalorian coming in.
Yet.
Right, yet. Like, it's one of those things is there... And I haven't started The Mandalorian yet. So it's one of those things is like... For me, it's not really worth the investment yet. I think I think part of that is just because they launched it so late in the year.
Yeah. That
they, for good reason, are being like, we're not doing anything this year except for this one thing. There's a show Encore that's Kristen Bell produced that I think might be interesting, but like not enough to actually cause me to watch it.
Right. Yeah, I keep seeing it pop up as one of the originals. I'm more interested in the Disney
what she does is she gets musical casts from high school.
Okay.
Back together, sometimes years and years and years later, to perform the musical again.
Oh, that's
These
kind of
people
cool.
take 6 days off work to rehearse and prep it, and then they do the show. And in one case, they have a group. They did Bye Bye Birdie in high school. The guy who played Conrad Birdie got hit by a car and is a paraplegic.
Oh my gosh.
And he wrote in and said, the big thing I want to do is play Conrad Birdie, but do it in my chair. Relive that moment. So, like, it's one of those,
and that's one of those for me. But, it'll be something I watch mid-seasons. So if, like Melzak pointed out that season 2 of The Mandalorian is currently shooting, so hopefully sometime early next year we'll have it. Probably second quarter, third quarter, we'll get that. So if we're getting that early in between the end of this season and when that second season comes out, that's when that's a program I would probably watch. But that's just how I'll look at that kind of programming. Is it's not exactly something I'm going to worry about watching, week to week. But we'll sit down and watch in a couple of days in between seasons or other television shows, especially if it's a short.
Yeah.
Kind of thing to watch. So, why haven't you started The Mandalorian?
I wish you'd have waited until, I don't know, I changed the screen away.
I know, I was fidgeting.
Before you bent down out of the picture.
Well, I was fidgeting with something and I lost it, and I needed to pick it back up. So.
Professionalism at its finest from Amanda, everybody.
Okay, episode 1. Leave me alone. Rust is a real thing.
Hey, Dirk Manning's here.
Why do we got to announce that?
Because he would want it.
Oh, okay. Hi, Dirk.
I haven't watched I haven't started The Mandalorian yet because I said I was going to wait till 5. And now I've just decided I'm just going to wait till it's all out.
Okay, because that's only 3 more weeks.
Yeah. That gives me time to finish the 2 other shows that I have that are actively coming out that I'm watching.
Okay.
Because they will be on break.
Mm-hmm.
Or the seasons will be over. Then I can watch The Mandalorian. And what I'll do with The Mandalorian is I'll take my time with The Mandalorian like I did with the Netflix shows. 1 a day.
Mm-hmm.
And be able to knock it out in a week and really enjoy it and take time to digest it.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things is that because I waited to begin with, now I'm just going to wait a little bit longer and just take my time.
Right. Well, and I feel like that's actually pretty safe, surprisingly safe. I'm honestly very surprised that I have seen very little spoilery stuff. The only spoil that I got was the child, and even that I didn't even know the child's purpose.
Right.
Or connection to anything. It's just I knew this thing existed.
Right.
So it's kind of, I've been very proud of people and their restraint with this because it is limited to a streaming service that not a lot of people have yet. Mm-hmm. And people have restrained from major spoilers just out publicly on, their status on Facebook. So good job, guys. I'm proud of you.
Right. No, I mean, I agree with that sentiment. That it's good that people aren't spoiling it like crazy.
Yeah.
Even though they are spoiling it like crazy. I think it's good that people are having respect for those of us who aren't watching it yet to get to it.
It's a nice change.
It is. I also think that one of the big benefits to streaming service is that you can watch in the way you want to watch. For me, one of the I remember I never watched a few of the shows that people were like, I can't believe you didn't watch. So I never watched
Friends.
Well, Friends, that's a different thing. I never watched Mad Men. Or I never watched Breaking Bad. And part of that is that at that time in my life, I wanted to be able to watch stuff the day after it came out. Mm-hmm. I was working a lot of nights. I was doing a lot of things. And so I wanted to be able to come back the next day, pull it up, stream it, watch it, knock it out.
You could have with those. They were all on Amazon or AMC.com or whatever.
But you couldn't unless you had you paid for or you signed up for the AMC.com.
Really?
When they first started coming out.
Really? Okay. Because I just remember, and maybe this is just because I usually watched on air for a lot of AMC stuff, that I only needed to go to the website a couple of times to watch it the next day. Mm-hmm. So I never ran into that issue.
Well, that's part of why I never watched. I didn't get into The Walking Dead until significantly later.
When it all hit Netflix.
Well, when it all hit DVD.
Oh.
I watched The Walking Dead season 1 because I bought the DVD here.
Okay.
And then didn't particularly care for it.
Yeah, that first season's a little rough.
So I just stopped.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
You know, it happens.
Yep. So, one of the other things we want to do every week when we come to you here live with the news from the Nexus is talk to you about what's happening.
Yeah. What's been happening, what's coming.
Yes. So, Amanda, why don't you recap for the people?
Oh, jeez.
What has been happening? Since we've been open in a couple of days, 3 months.
3 months?
Here.
It's not 3 months, because that would put September.
October 12th, November, December.
2 months, technically.
Technically 2 months, yeah.
It's, yes, we opened in the middle of October.
Right, so we're to our third 12th.
Yeah.
So it is 2 months.
Yeah, it's
all confusing.
Time is hard.
Yeah, time is not on my side.
Yeah, we've been 2 months here,
compared
open
to
and
what
operating.
the song would tell you.
Stop.
Time
Tangent.
is on my side.
So we obviously kicked off our grand opening with an in-store dining with Seth DeMoose, which, I mean, Savant's, Floppy Cop. Yeah, do you want to grab the Savant's?
Hold on, I'm getting it. Hold on.
Savant's visual aid. There it is. Okay. So Seth was here to kick us off in October.
Yep.
Then we didn't do anything until November when this guy showed up.
Right, but that was only, remember, 3 weeks later.
Yeah, 3 weeks later, Scoot McMahon, who is a Rossford native, was here. Because he came in right after Halloween. Because I remember trick-or-treating and giving out Cthulhu Juniors because they were free. And then we got a week off before we had 3 of the lovely ladies of this book.
Yes, Cafe Macabre.
Cafe Macabre came in.
Scary stories by ladies.
Yep, on art also by ladies.
True.
Everything in this book was written by, created by, edited by women, really.
If you have a Y chromosome, you're out.
Out.
I was told just to sit in the corner and provide the pizza.
It's true. But it's really cool. It's a horror anthology. And it's all done by women, and it's kind of a nice celebration of women in horror. And we do have copies of it available, but they were here. We also have copies. One of the contributors to this book has her own comics, Stephanie Menard, and we have those available.
The Last Heist and Aeonian.
Yes, sorry, Aeonian, and then The Last Heist. So we have those, and she, lovingly let us buy some of these from her. Did she sign them? And she did sign them.
So those are available for purchase.
They are. And then what? We took a week off.
2 weeks.
2 weeks off because we had
Black Friday. We took 1 week off.
We took a week off, and then this past weekend, if you missed it, we had Jarrett Whalen. We are premiering this new book, The Weight of Gravity.
Flip it over. Show them the sexy, sexy back.
There it is.
That's right.
That's
New
us.
meaning to the word sexy back. I'm bringing sexy back.
There it is.
Right there.
But it's The Weight of Gravity. He's also signed these for us, but this is his new...
Sticking your finger right in the signature.
Oh, okay. There it is.
There you go.
But this is... He writes this, he draws it, he inks it, he letters it, he colors it. This is all Jarrett doing this book, and it is fantastic. So that is available. And then Jim Beard was here, who is a prose writer.
But he's also done some comics.
But he has done some comics.
He was here with his Extreme Ghostbusters for the 35th anniversary of Ghostbusters.
Yep. But yeah, he's done work with Marvel and DC, and they were here this past Saturday.
So that's what we've done.
That's just what's happened. It's been exhausting.
Y'all.
In 2 months, that's what we've done.
So I was supposed to have Sunday off this past Sunday because I've not had a day off since we opened.
I mean...
And then we got our weeks messed up, and so I had to work Sunday. So, when I say I'm exhausted, you can look at that and be like, yeah, I could see how that would exhaust you.
Right. Every other week, we had, for a little bit there, we were doing
we were doing something every other week. So there's nothing for the rest of December because Christmas.
Yep.
Nobody wants to sign the weekend before or after Christmas. It's just not a thing. So there's nothing happening for the rest of December. But there are some things happening in January.
Well,
And
this whole thing, it started out, it was just going to be one creator each month.
Mm-hmm. 1 or 2 people a month for the first year.
And then now it's turning into 2 signings a month.
I was doing the math, and just with stuff on my calendar, we're looking at 18 signings or 20 signings in 12 months.
Wow.
And something like 30 in 18 months.
Jeez. That's exhausting. I'm exhausted just at the thought of what is coming in the next 18 months.
Good thing we sell energy drink here.
For real.
So, that's what's been happening.
Yeah. And then there's, like I said, there's more to come. We're going to have a couple
in
lined up for January.
Couple in February.
A big one in March.
Listen, the internet.
Oh, no.
Okay. So in March. Okay. Just you and me, the internet. I'm going to get rid of Amanda.
What?
Just like that. Okay. In March. Y'all ain't even ready. Okay. Amanda, plug your ears.
No, I'm not plugging my ears.
Plug your ears.
I'm not doing it.
Plug your ears. She plugged her ears. Guys, Amanda has a big birthday coming up in March. It's a big one. It's one where she's a prime number. Like, she's this many. And, like, it's a big one. So we're planning something big for March. Just, you know, pay attention to what I tell you when I tell you. So that way she doesn't know. Okay. You can unplug your ears.
You done now?
I'm good.
Okay.
Okay. So, let's talk about the news this week. There's been some nerdy news this week.
Nerdy news, yeah.
Yes, nerdy news this week.
Do we want to start with the sad or do we want to start with the happy?
I wrote the sad last.
I feel like that's a real downer. Let's start there, I think.
Yeah. So, guys, like 9 people have died.
Oh my god, it's been insane.
It started with Rachel's dad from Friends.
Yep.
And it's just musicians, actors.
It's,
The guy from Star Trek,
dropping.
I can't remember his name.
They're dropping like flies.
But the big one for me.
I think, for a lot of people.
The voice of my spirit animal, Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah.
And Big Bird.
Big Bird.
Yeah. Hey, what do Big Bird and Anthony D. Lee have in common?
They're giants.
If they laid on their side, their head would be in Ohio and their feet would be in Florida.
You better tag him.
I will. So, anyhow. The death of Carol Spinney at 85 years old. Some of us, I didn't actually do it. I had Seth do it for me. Got to meet him at Great Lakes Comic-Con in Macomb, Michigan this past year, where they had all the people. Anybody who's ever been a people actor on...
A lot of I feel like more the original.
Yeah, on...
Second run, yeah.
Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
Plus Carol Spinney. Seth drew me a beautiful piece, which is my profile picture at the moment, of art for Carol Spinney. Had to sign it. It was really disappointing to hear that his
health has been deteriorating.
Well, it was dementia and a couple other things, but they had a name for it. Dysphagia.
I'm not sure.
Something. Was so bad that his wife had to remind him how to sign his last name.
Yeah.
Like, that's super a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
So, Carol Spinney passed away.
Rest in peace, Big Bird.
As have a lot of other big celebrities this week. But speaking of dead celebrities.
Yeah.
Harold Ramis.
Yeah.
The ghost of Harold Ramis is with us.
Or is this where we're starting?
Yes.
Okay.
How many of you on the internet, I see you still out there, how many of you chime in?
I know, you guys got oddly quiet, so...
Well, because we're not really talking to them that much.
Well...
we're figuring this out, but, like...
Talk to us.
Yeah. How many of y'all have seen the new Ghostbusters trailer?
I did. Like 3 times.
Yeah, like 3 times today. And I don't watch trailers.
You usually don't know. I give myself one. Like, I'll watch usually the first trailer. Anything, the teaser, anything after that where they start getting a little more I mean, I guess spoilery. You know, the closer you get to the movie, the more information they start putting in the trailer.
You know, if your hand is right next to the camera, it looks gargantuan.
They start getting there seems to be more information the closer you get to the film and the trailers.
Sure.
So I stop after usually the first one. So this will probably be it for me with Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'll watch this one and then I probably won't watch another one.
Right. But there were some things,
Melzak.
Ghostbusters. There were some things that were worth noting.
Oh yeah.
In the Afterlife trailer. First of all, the kid from Stranger Things.
Yep.
And Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was in it, yes.
And who else did I notice was in it?
Well, we were talking about the little girl who seems to be the main protagonist.
Yeah, she's one of the big protagonists. She's been in a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, well, she was young Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
She was in The Haunting of Hill House. She's been in Annabelle, Amityville movies.
Yeah, she's been in a whole bunch.
Yeah.
So that's exciting to see this young actress kind of do this thing. But it really does look to pay a pretty good homage to the original.
It really is like a nice sequel.
Right.
Like it is.
Rather than trying to remake or rebuild, it's, okay, this happened, here's where we are.
Yeah.
And here's Paul Rudd.
Right.
The only thing, and I'll say this, the only thing I would have changed.
Already you're changing things.
Is to have Paul Rudd's character played by Kate McKinnon.
Okay.
Make a nod at the earlier film, which, as bad as it was, she was in Young Sheldon, you're correct. But as bad as that film was for a lot of people, and I get it. Not going to argue with you about you hating a movie that was perfectly fine, especially if you were stoned out of your gourd. But make a nod to it, because everybody was in it except for Harold Ramis. And even there wasn't even a nod to Harold Ramis in that movie. So you had Bill Murray and all these guys, Ernie Hudson had a role, were in that movie. So it wasn't completely like the Ghostbusters didn't want anything to do with it. They were in it, all right? So get over yourselves.
Right. It's obviously in that same kind of universe.
Make a nod to it and have this weird Ghostbusters fanboy or fangirl played by Kate McKinnon, who was arguably the best part of that movie. Just throwing that out there. Don't get at me. Although, Jason Reitman, if you want me to help you fix it, I can.
Well, here's my confession of it. I didn't see that Ghostbusters movie.
I have it on Blu-ray. You can borrow.
So I don't have any attachment. I just always remember them talking about it wasn't supposed to be a reboot. I mean, it was, but it wasn't because it was in the same universe as all of this, as the TV show, as the movie. So I'm not sure. I'm not going to comment too much on that movie and what I think this trailer needs.
I will loan to you.
But I'm still stuck. I think we got some Slimer action in that trailer.
I don't know.
What is the green thing shooting out of the well?
Could be anything, because so, and I'm not going to spoil the trailer, but it could be anything. I think I know the plot. I think I know what happens. Like, I think I've got a concept of how this is going to have to go down.
Right.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah.
But I think, pardon my French, but I think the dickless wonder Walter Peck has a role in all of this.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there.
I think it's going to be interesting because I think they confirmed before this trailer that everybody was involved.
Yeah.
So everyone is involved again, so it's going to be really interesting.
Well, that guy's dead, but yeah.
But, like, they're going to do something in acknowledgement of him. Mm-hmm. The way that you're doing with...
Well, no, Ivan Wright, I'm talking about, I'm talking about the guy who played Walter Peck.
Yeah.
Who was the guy who made them shut down the Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Like, that guy's dead, plus Harold Ramis. So, like, you know, I think they're gonna definitely make a nod to Harold Ramis. Whether they make a nod to somebody else, you know, is irrelevant. But I think he had something to do with it, and I'm calling him out.
All right.
So, other trailers that came out this week were a very, in my opinion, disappointing Wonder Woman 1984 trailer. Here's why. Just
Okay.
me.
I'm listening.
For 2 years now, we've heard nothing about how the next Wonder Woman movie, we're going to get Cheetah, which is a great villain for Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Great villain. And they don't allude to her at all.
Yeah, they didn't even show her. Nothing.
Nothing.
Flash.
Now, is Kristen Wiig Cheetah? That don't make sense to me. But whatever. All they do is they nod to, I'm so in love with Steve Trevor. Oh, yeah.
I was to say,
And then Steve Trevor shows up because of course he freaking does. And it's like, really? You're going to make Wonder Woman a love puppy?
apparently.
I'm so sad.
Hopefully that's just like a C plot to it, is her being the love puppy, because she does look, there are some really great shots of her kicking some serious butt and looking like really awesome. But again, another confession for me, I have not seen Wonder Woman. I didn't see the first one.
Well, so the whole problem I had with Wonder Woman, the first one, is that they take these parts of the story that were written by William Moulton Marston and these people who poured their heart and soul into Wonder Woman, making Wonder Woman great, and diminished it all by giving her this I've fallen in love with Steve Trevor story arc. Instead of just letting him be there and him being in love with her, but not reciprocating. Just let her be awesome.
Right.
And then at the end of the movie, you don't kill him. So in the second movie, they're just together.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I get it.
It does
Great.
seem like you're
Let's
diminishing.
move on.
Well, you're right.
So, but this happened in the comics, right? So there was this long period where after World War II, during the Comics Code, where it was all about the destruction of the innocent, where it's Wonder Woman couldn't tie dudes up. Wonder Woman couldn't get tied up. It was all about, juvenile delinquency. So Wonder Woman was like, I'm a housewife.
Right.
No, you're not. You're freaking Wonder Woman.
Right.
Like, it's all these, oh, I'm so fawning over Steve Trevor. I'm so in love with Steve Trevor. And I get it. If you have Chris Pine in your cast, you use Chris Pine. He's great. But don't diminish Wonder Woman just for the sake of having a love story.
No, I can agree with that, because I think we have that too much where female-led movies rely too heavily on the male love interest. And let her be awesome and also be in love.
Sure.
Let it be like, yeah, you're allowed to be in love and be, crazy about this guy, but also like kick some serious butt, be awesome, and don't need him.
So I'm gonna start with this one, and then the next trailer we're gonna talk about.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk about this a little more. The movie trailers right now are fueling a lot of the comic book speculation industry.
Oh yeah.
So the book you want to, if you're into Wonder Woman, if you're looking at this movie and you want to pick up a Wonder Woman book, you want Wonder Woman number 9 from Volume 2, which is the George Perez Wonder Woman run, which is the first modern Cheetah. I looked, we had a copy for years.
Yeah, we went through a couple, I think.
Yeah, we've had dozens of copies over the years. I looked for them, couldn't find one, but that's the one to look for, is number 9 from Volume 2 of Wonder Woman, George Perez run, first modern Cheetah. That's a book I would invest in for this movie, especially if this movie winds up being half as popular as the first one. You could really see a nice investment on that book.
Yeah.
The other trailer that we watched is Black Widow.
Yep.
Which Amanda is not hyped for.
I'm not really hyped for Wonder Woman either. Ghostbusters, I was definitely in. I was like, I'm ready. I will give you my money today for Ghostbusters. And the other one that we'll talk about, I also have some love for.
Yeah.
But we'll wait to talk to that one. But for me, Wonder Woman and Black Widow, they're both okay. Like, I'll probably watch Black Widow, but I'm not probably going to see it opening weekend. I probably won't even see it in theater.
Which is wrong.
I feel just very meh about it because, sticking as spoiler-free as possible, it seems like we're walking away from her and the other teammates a little bit. We're getting some more interesting characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not more interesting, I think that's the wrong way of putting it. Other characters seem to be taking, lead position. And so for me, it's just one of those, it feels like a step backward, and it feels a year or 2 years too late for a Black Widow
You're not
movie.
a big fan of her.
I don't find her character as interesting as like a Captain Marvel or a Shuri.
And is it because you spent less time with her? Or is it because you're not in love with her because of her portrayal in...
It has nothing...
We have a mutual friend who really, really, really doesn't like Black Widow and doesn't like Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. And I think it's because her entire information about Black Widow comes from what she's seen in the films. Which I think is a mischaracterization of the character.
I've always, at least for me, at least with Black Widow, from what I can infer, because I haven't spent a lot of comic book time with Black Widow, is I felt like she could have been better, but she was misused.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, she's always felt like just this awesome spy. Like, at least in the movies,
right.
Maybe. Like, she's this Russian spy. Okay.
Right.
Great. So it's Jason Bourne. It's Mission Impossible. And it's like, I don't need that in a movie just because it's a female character.
So, what we see in the trailer, one of the things we see in the trailer is we meet her family.
Yes.
Or family. But this is where you get so much more of the why Black Widow, and why I've always been saying, no, Black Widow's great. You just only know what she lets you know. So in the Avengers movies so far, we've only seen what Black Widow has let us see. So for instance, in the trailer we meet Red Guardian.
Which I feel like if there's any part about this movie I'm excited for, it's David Harbour. But
we also meet her sister, who is a character in many, many books.
Right.
Who is, part of, who's a Russian assassin, but also a supervillain. Mm-hmm. Like, you meet these characters that are heroes and villains and these things that they're more in depth than what you would have believed if you had only ever watched the Avengers movies. So there's a big arc where Black Widow teams up with Daredevil.
Yeah, okay. I'm aware of this arc, yes.
So now that we get a Black Widow movie where we're getting a little more of her backstory, that's opening the door for these other things, these other parts of her life that we've never been privy to because we've only ever seen her interactions with Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, which is about
Martin.
This much of her timeline.
Well, but you look at her and, Hawkeye and their whole...
But Hawkeye's a lot like her in that you really don't see all the Hawkeye stuff because he doesn't give you all the Hawkeye stuff. Now we're going to get the Hawkeye... Isn't he doing a Disney Plus thing?
I don't know. We have Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision are the two shows that I know for sure for Disney Plus. I don't know anything about Hawkeye.
There's stuff in development with Jeremy Renner.
And Kate Bishop, I think they're doing stuff.
Right.
They're leaning toward doing, So that'll be interesting. And like I said, I'm not saying that I won't see it, but at this point, I'll catch it on a $5 movie night. I'll catch it.
You're here on $5 movie nights doing this.
Well, maybe I'll take a Tuesday off and go in the afternoon.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
or like on a weekend, maybe I'll take the trip up to Monroe on a Saturday afternoon and pay, $6 to go see it. I'm not going opening night, and I'm not going down here to Levis.
I'm super hyped for Black Widow. Amanda's wrong. But she would say the same thing about the next trailer.
Yes.
Our fourth and final trailer, which is a movie that I couldn't give a crap about. Yeah. But she's all over.
I am over it, yeah.
And so the last trailer we watched this week is...
the live-action Mulan.
Live-action Mulan. And y'all, can I just tell you, there is not enough Eddie Murphy as a talking dragon for me. Like... I would be okay. I'd see it if it's like Eddie Murphy reprising his role as a talking dragon. And I'd be like, so he's a donkey and a dragon? I'm in. But it's this, and Amanda can explain it better, probably. Yeah. But to me, it's like this whole mythology of the Mulan story. And all this stuff that I get if you're a 12-year-old girl who's looking to find her own identity and this kind of stuff. But as a person who knows who I am, not for me, man. Like, throw in Eddie Murphy and have him make some jokes, and you can convince me, because it looks like it's going to have some killer action sequences.
Well,
but on the whole, it's going to be a hard pass until it's on Disney Plus,
right? And
I'm out of everything else to rewatch.
So, okay, for me with Mulan, and I'll try and keep this kind of brief, but quick history lesson, let's go, is that the legend of Mulan is basically timeless. It's very King Arthur, but for China. Everyone wants to have Mulan from, their little village, from their little corner of the world, and they all want to claim her because of what she means to their culture. And it also seems like Disney is very much trying to pay respect to the actual legends of Mulan the way they didn't the first time around. But they're doing it with that Disney touch. Like, there's a great moment in the trailer where you see her, taking her father's place in the army because it is her duty to bring honor and, do what is right for her family. And you get that swell of that Disney music from that animated. You get the Christina Aguilera song in this beautiful instrumental moment. And it is a very powerful kind of moment in the trailer. So for me, I think it's going to be interesting to see. And I'm excited that they're paying respect to the legends and the actual history that is Mulan by not having a talking dragon that's not anywhere in the actual legend of Mulan. Now, is that more appealing to children and American audiences? Maybe. But we'll see. It's in March is when we're going to get it. So we'll see what happens.
Me want talking dragon. I'm okay with being a caveman on this one. I don't care about the history of Mulan. I don't care what it means to the culture. I want an entertaining movie, and the original was. It was animated. It was goofy. It was fun. It's like Kung Fu Panda, but somehow more serious, which isn't hard when it's not starring Jack Black.
Well, and here... And I'm not going to take anything away from the animated movie, because the animated movie is wonderful. But what the animated movie did, at least for me, is what Walt always wanted his animated movies to do. Is it's me telling my version of this story, but to direct people toward the source material.
That's fair.
So I have I've listened to, people who have researched, more extensively, because I can't read Chinese, the histories of Mulan and who she is as a character.
Sure.
So, like I said, for me it'll be an interesting take on it, because she is the only Disney princess with a body count. She's also the only person in the Disney princess lineup who never was actually a princess, because in the one version of the story where she becomes royalty, she then kills herself. So, you
know. Well, okay, to take it back a step from that, going back to Black Widow, because I forgot, I made these notes for a purpose, and I skipped them. Just so you know, because we talked about the comic book speculation market, Wonder Woman number 9, Volume 2 number 9, George Perez, First Modern Cheetah. If you're looking to invest based on Black Widow, you want Avengers number 43, which is the first appearance of Red Guardian, who is David Harbour's character, which, again, I looked. We had one for
He looks hilarious, and for me, that's probably the part that makes me want to see it, is David Harbour, because he just seems very goofy and over the top, and I kind of like that.
He's better in this than he is in Hellboy.
I haven't seen Hellboy, so I don't know.
It's bad. Inhumans number 5 from 1999 is the first appearance of the person we're calling Black Widow's sister.
Yeah, because they don't give her a name in the trailer.
Not in the trailer. She does have a name. And is she really Black Widow's sister?
Well, and is this really the character? Is this really the character they're doing?
Yeah. And then Deadpool Max number 5.
Okay.
Deadpool Max number 5 is the first appearance of Lady Taskmaster. You do, in the Black Widow trailer, get to see Taskmaster. So Taskmaster, the original Taskmaster, appears in an Avengers book, also by Marv Wolfman, Joel Rubinstein, and some of those guys. But the female version comes from Deadpool Max number 5. So if you're looking for comics to look at as it relates to the trailers we've discussed, try those.
There is no Mulan or Ghostbusters comics.
Well, there are Ghostbusters trailers, Ghostbusters comics, but check out Extreme Ghostbusters by Jim Beard.
There you go. There's the plug.
Yeah. Every week when we do the show, we are going to tell you what's coming up. At some point, you'll get bored with it, what's coming up, because sometimes you'll hear the same things 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
Without a whole lot of change.
Especially because we're going to be talking every week like this. And, we're not going to have something new every week coming up, so...
Although, at this rate,
it
could happen.
Hush.
So, coming up here at the store, here at the Nexus 419, starting immediately, we have this deal. We are doing a charity sock drive, collecting socks to benefit Co-Mission Toledo and the Believe Center. This time of year, so many people want to donate toys to help kids have a happy Christmas. And to be honest, I'm going to come back and I'm going to take Amanda off screen just for a minute, and I'm going to look directly into the camera and do my thing. So this time of year, it's really common to want to give toys to these charities, to homeless shelters, to women's shelters, to the Salvation Army, and these places get thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of toys. For instance, Family House here in Toledo, right? They provide Christmas presents for the family of every family who has been there over the course of a year. So that's like 70 families this year. Everybody gets 3 presents. Guess what? Family House has so much they have extra that they're holding now for birthdays and things like that, that they also provide. They've exceeded their need for Christmas presents. But what people don't think to donate and what people don't give are the things that you can't buy on food stamps, you can't buy on WIC, you can't buy on any of these things. Things like underwear, socks, toilet paper, shampoo, conditioner, hair supplies, personal hygiene items. And they're so desperately in need because people want to give that. They want to give money. They want to give all this stuff. And that's great, but all that stuff's been taken care of. So now here we are, 2 weeks to Christmas, 2.5 weeks to Christmas. And it's these organizations need socks, underwear. Lucas County Family Services came to an organization I'm involved with, and they're like, this is literally the list of people we need underwear for, because these people can't buy underwear and they don't have any. All right, guys, I'm going to be honest. I sometimes eat really bad food. Amanda will tell you she's seen me eat dumb things. And so I know what a beating underwear can take. Imagine not having any.
Right. Well, I think I remember reading at one point that the number one requested item from homeless individuals is a warm pair of socks, or a new pair of socks.
Right.
Especially as it's getting cold.
Right. So there was a meme that went around this week.
Oh, did I miss it?
Well, it was a torn pair of underwear and a pair of socks with holes in it that said, "It's all right, guys. 2 weeks to Christmas."
Right.
Because every dude gets socks and underwear for Christmas. But what if your family can't afford to buy you socks and underwear for Christmas? You need that. So what we are doing is we are collecting socks. Okay?
Ow!
Socks. For Co-Mission Toledo and the Believe Center here in town. to benefit that, to give to them so that everybody can have warm socks for Christmas.
Yes.
We're collecting now through Christmas Eve. Socks. So here's how this is going to work in our store. We're partnering with some other stores. As soon as those guys text me back, some of them are pretty lame like that. They don't text you back right away.
Oh.
Shout out to Jeff Connolly.
Isn't he doing his own version of this
yeah,
right
he's
now?
doing this. So, and shout out to our friends at Monarch. But we are doing this with a couple other stores, hopefully, assuming they still want to be involved. And what we are doing here, and your mileage may vary depending on the store where you choose to donate. But if you bring one pair of socks, 5% off.
Yep.
You bring 2 pairs of socks, or more like you bring a pack of socks like this.
Which is 10 pairs of socks right here. And this one, I have the camera here.
This is 5 pairs. But you bring a pack like this, you go somewhere, you buy a pack like this, 15% off. Or no, 10% off, I'm sorry.
Right.
10% off for something like this. If you go to Costco and buy the big pack, 20% off.
There it is.
On the socks, all right?
You're gonna give, and we're gonna help some people.
Yes.
By you giving, we're gonna give back to you, and you're gonna get it
Right.
immediately the minute you give these.
Right. You want to help somebody, help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And we will help you help someone.
Right, and I was gonna say, and if you look, I mean, if you're in that generous spirit and you're gonna help us out and you're gonna get us some socks, but you're still feeling generous after those, I know there's drives like this going on all over the place for different items that are needed.
So
do some research. Your local newspaper will have it.
Yeah. But if you don't feel like you can get to the store and you just want to make a cash donation, hey Kyle, I hate shopping. Here's $10. Go buy some socks. Okay. We can do that for you. So
Yes.
we'll work that out. And here's the deal. My mom, saint that she is,
And the
went
ones
out
that are on the floor over there.
and bought sample socks so that we had something to wave in front of the camera tonight. She doesn't buy any comics, so she is willing to give up her discount.
Yes.
So my mom's got the 20% discount. If you come in tomorrow, so today is December 10th. If you come in before December 12th, the first person to come in and spend $100 gets my mom's discount.
There it is. So come in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Spend that $100 on that statue
Right.
that your kid really wanted
Right.
for Christmas, or a bunch of action figures that your kid really wants for Christmas, or that you really want for Christmas, or Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, or whatever.
Chris Mahana Kwanzaa.
Yeah, or whatever holiday that you choose to
Yes.
celebrate this time of year, you're going to get that 20% off that $100 purchase.
All right. So that's the first thing.
Yep.
Then we're going to get into January. And guys, January has a special significance for us this year. We are proud to announce tonight that on January 7th, is that the right day?
No, I don't know. I don't know what the day is.
Hold, please.
We'll start by saying we're having 2 in-store appearances.
Yes, we're having 2 in-store appearances in the month of January.
Yep, we did kind of allude to them earlier. One is mid-month, the other one is end of.
January 11th.
January 11th is the first one.
January 11th, we are having Tony Maiello and some others whose names we will confirm in the future.
Yep.
Probably Dominic Riggio and John Marroquin.
Possibly, yes.
From Rocketing Studios in store to celebrate the launch of Odd Tales from the Curio Shop. I'll come back to you, Mom. But anyhow, Odd Tales from the Curio Shop release kickoff launch here January 11th. Be on the lookout for a flyer for that from Rocketing Studios. What are you doing?
I'll be right back. Just coming around over here.
You gotta tell me that or give me some kind of sign so you just don't walk out of screen.
Well, you were talking and I'm little, so.
Anyhow. But then, 2 weeks later, literally we take a Saturday off and then we have this next one.
Jeez.
I think.
Not sustainable, my friend.
I'll be sustainable when they put me in the ground. let's see. So the 11th.
So we're starting with the launch.
Then we take the 18th off, yes, and then the 25th. Okay. So then the 25th is this.
We obviously don't have graphics yet for the Rocketing Snow.
No. But we're going to... Celebrating a Decade of Darkness, Nightmare World #1. Volume 1 has been in print now for 10 years.
Nice.
So we're having our friend Dirk Manning, who was here earlier. He might still be here. Dirkus, are you still here?
He's just lurking, I'm sure. Not commenting, not saying anything. He's around.
Right. Dirk, are you still here?
You here? Hello?
Start hitting the thumbs up button or something, bro.
The heart.
But Dirk Manning will be here January 25th from 1 to 5. It's also, guys, it's also his birthday. All right, he's old.
He is old. He is 666 years old.
Yes. Not his actual birthday. Not that actual year, but yes. It's his birthday. So we'll be celebrating that as well as the anniversary of Nightmare World. But also appearing, you can see it down there at the bottom, also appearing is Rossford's own Rossford High School graduate, Isabella Christiana. Isabella Christiana, hey, we talked about this book earlier. They can't see it. You're not on the camera. It's in Cafe Macabre. Man, I was so happy to show you at Cafe Macabre. It's in the graphic.
Dang.
Signing her first published work. She's in Cafe Macabre. She will be here that day as well. That's January 25th from 1 to 5.
All right.
So be on the lookout for more information about those two things. But my mom wants us to go back to the sock thing.
This is a big one from Mama.
Yes. So Mom...
Store Mom. Best Mom.
She wants, we're extending the offer from today to take advantage of her sock pre-buying. But she also says she's going to put a challenge out there to match her donation.
So 15 pairs of socks.
Right. 15
or 25,
pairs of socks.
excuse me, 25 pairs of socks.
25 pairs of socks. Look,
10,
3
10,
packs
5.
from Big Lots.
3 packs from Big Lots.
To match her donation, and then she will go out. If someone will match her, she'll go buy more and give away her discount again.
Nice.
All right. This is my mom, ladies and gentlemen. So bring socks. All right. So the last segment we had planned is a Q&A.
Yes.
But people didn't really respond with that many Q's for us to A.
That's true.
Randy wanted to talk about the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I'm not watching it, so I cannot comment. There's my comment on that. There is my A for the Q&A about Crisis.
Randy wanted to talk about the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Randy, I'm a big fan of the Primes, so we'll see what happens. I did make a really terrible dad joke as it relates to the photo that's been going around of Brandon Routh choking out the guy who plays Superman and Supergirl. Okay. So it's Brandon Routh dressed as Crisis Superman, choking out the guy who plays Superman on Supergirl, and I said he must be having a crisis, and then I said I will show myself out.
Yeah, leave. At that point, I feel like we just need to end this.
Right.
We're done.
Right.
There's no recovering.
Nobody really came up with questions for us to answer, so we're going to skip over that deal.
Yeah.
And come to the end of our first podcast.
It is.
Yay!
So guys, we're going to do it again next week.
Yes.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yes. So every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, be here or be square.
It's true.
The way we're going to do this is simple, guys. If you tune in Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, you get to see the podcast live and in person and comment on it.
Yes.
We will get better at responding to your comments in the streams as we get more used to doing this and as I get my setup more fully evolved.
Yep.
Like right now I only have one monitor. Usually I would do this with 2. Things like that so that we can comment on everything. As we get better, we will do more like that. But now, if you miss it here, okay, if you don't watch it live, you don't get to see it again
or hear it
until next Tuesday. Because I'm not gonna put it on Facebook.
Nope.
We're not gonna save it on Facebook. You're gonna have to follow our YouTube page, which doesn't exist yet.
It will.
It will tomorrow.
We'll plug it next. Yeah, I was gonna say.
And watch the store's Facebook page for the link to the audio version of the podcast.
Yep.
Which won't be out until a week from today.
Yep.
So next Tuesday, the audio version of this podcast and the video version of this podcast will drop. But this is it for it being live on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, that being said, we are out here.
Think of questions for next week.
Yes.
Because we're going to want to do the Q&A thing kind of every week as questions are there. So send, your questions to the store and just make sure you add in the message that you send with your question that this is for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably do another, post like we did earlier today. So watch the store's page for that.
Yeah.
That says, here, collect questions here for tonight's episode.
Yeah.
Make sure you're following so you know when we go live so you don't have to miss a week because you didn't get the notification that we went live and therefore have to wait a week to watch it on YouTube. And then you're 2 hours behind. Come on, guys.
Right. Nobody wants to be 2 hours behind.
No.
So, for Amanda.
Yes.
I've been Kyle, and this has been News from the Nexus.